Happy American Thanksgiving. I am offering this free class to members and non-members alike as my way of thanking you for following me. So this class will use a resistance band only if you're interested. This whole class can be done without the resistance band. We will also use a block. If you don't have a block, a ball, even a pillow will work. And if you are exercising outdoors the way I am, I'd recommend more than just one mat because we are going to be on our hands and knees a bunch. For those of you who don't come down to your hands and knees, I've shown the modification quite frequently that you can be standing with your hands on a table, whether it's your coffee table, your couch, or even your countertop. Those will all work. So let's get going. While you're seated, I'd like you to just sit right up on top of your sitting bones, and we're just going to have a little reminder of how I teach core engagement, and that is that we're breathing and expanding our rib cage mostly. Your abdominal muscles do stretch a little bit because the air eventually creates a pressure change in your belly, but the filling of the air is up here. And then when we exhale, when we are engaging our core, we will use that idea of a marble traveling up from your pubic bone up and behind your belly button without you making any shape changes in your body or your spine, but engaging your deep core muscles. So that's just the reminder. And let's get going with seated this way, or maybe you enjoy cross legs. It's totally up to you. It's whatever makes you feel like you can sit right up and down on your sitting bones. And we're going to start reaching our arm across, but we're not going to think of it as our arm. We're going to think of it as our shoulder blade making the movement. So I can touch my shoulder blade in the back, maybe you can too, or you could have somebody else touch it, and you could feel it moving further away from your spine. And I'm just asking you to warm up your shoulder blade. So I'm not rotating my body, I'm really letting my shoulders rotate a teeny bit, but not much rotation in my spine because of my shoulder rotation. And then I'm going to go the other direction, maybe looking at my hand in the beginning and then feeling for my shoulder blade and really thinking about the whole motivation coming from my shoulder blade, pushing away from my spine and wrapping around towards the front of my body. So just warming up a teeny bit here. And then we're going to come on our hands and knees. So extra padding for your knees is a great idea. And the other thing would be to not be on your hands and knees, but to have your hands on a counter or a table. So the very first thing we're going to do is get our hands ready for contact with the ground. So I'm just moving my fingers around in many different ways, even pressing my fist onto the ground, moving my fist in different ways, just looking for all the activities that are going to really warm up my wrist, and finally coming to a little springy action off of the ground. And I'm using my abdominals while sort of working on the spring action in my fingers. So I exhale and really use my core so that my spine doesn't change shape while I do this. And one more. Great. We're going to move on to rhomboid push-ups. So again, my fingers are pointed forward, my thumbs hopefully pointing at each other. I'm going to allow my sternum to come to the ground, and that means my shoulder blades are pinching each other, and then I push away into the ground and push my shoulder blades away. Notice that I can rotate my arms in the sockets so that they're externally rotated. My elbow pits are pretty much facing forward. I can keep my arms pretty straight, they're not hyperextended, and I'm not moving any joints in my arm. I'm actually moving my shoulder blades, pinching the bottom of the shoulder blades together. Let's keep it out of your neck, so think about the bottom of the shoulder blade coming together and pushing away, coming together and pushing away. And then why don't you pop up And twinkle out your wrists, maybe stretch for a moment, stretch in all directions. Maybe make circles. We're going to come back down and do some baby push-ups. I think I'll face you for the baby push-ups because what I want you to see, my fingers are facing forward, my thumbs are facing each other. I'm in a good hands right under my shoulders and knees under my hips position, so a quadruped position. I'm going to externally rotate my shoulder blades, so almost like I have ice cream scoops on my elbows. Ice cream scoop that externally rotates my arm at the shoulder blade, and then I'm going to bend just at the elbow. So now the opposite of the rhomboid push-up, I'm now doing a baby regular push-up. I want to really feel it in the back of my arm, in that tricep muscle, but I have a stick on my back, so my spine is not changing. And now I'll come sideways for you. And if I do this correctly, you won't see my spine changing shape. You will see my elbows bending and my arms carrying this load. And inhale down maybe, exhale up. Really use the power of that marble traveling up to help you keep your core in control. Great. Okay, we are going to come on to our side, and this is where, if you're so inclined, you might use a resistance band. Now, I've got a really long one. If yours isn't super long, you might tie a knot in the end of it so you can push pause and tie a knot in the end of it. Because mine is so long, I'm doubling it up, getting a little more resistance from it. I'm going to use my block for my head, trying to keep my head in neutral. I'm going to bend my bottom knee, make it like a little tripod, and I'm going to pull up to here, and now just lift and lower with a flexed foot, really trying to feel the side of that leg. Remember, we don't want to collapse into the floor. That's part of why I've got something under my head. I want you to see that I am not down here. My hip isn't shortening. I'm here in neutral, so that takes some core work. Let's go at this again. 1, really feel your side leg. 2, feel your bottom. 3, 4, so I'm not going super high because this is as high as I can go without my pelvis changing and sort of moving towards the ground. So I would be tipping my pelvis. In order to keep this space the same between my ribs and my pelvis, I really have to use my core muscles. So that marble is traveling up, giving me core support. So everything is in a good place. Then what I'm going to do is switch, and I've got the bottom leg now. I'm going to cross my top leg over, making a little bit more of a kickstand, maybe not quite as secure. Maybe I need my hand here for more kickstand, and I'm going to lift and lower the bottom leg. Again, keeping my pelvis from rocking around. 4, do you feel that marble traveling up? 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. As we let this go, we're just going to think about how we're already partway there to a side plank. So the first part of a side plank you've already done because, whoops, got a little bit tipsy there. I want you to, I'm trying to create a little tighter shirt. You can see there's space under here. That's my first part of my side plank, that I'm not collapsed into the ground, but I'm using my core muscles and creating that space. Now what I'm going to do is get more tripod, and I'm going to push my way up to here. And this is now a side plank. And the act of being collapsed and then finding my strength, finding my shoulder over my elbow and really using all my side muscles, that is a plank. And I could go from collapsed to strong, and that could be my side plank. I might want to take it one step further, straighten out my bottom leg, and lift up like so. And now this is my side plank. I could have my thigh down a little bit or my calf down a little bit, or I could really try to perch right on my side of my foot. I might even raise my hand, and this is my side plank. And then if you really want to take it up a notch, we are going to do this with the front foot forward, back foot back, bottom foot back, I should say. And we're here in our side plank. Same concept of all the strength here. Marble traveling up. I don't care which direction your hand is pointing, whatever works for you. And coming on down. Wow. Just twinkle out those wrists. We're going to take the block and we're going to do a little hover action, and then we'll go to the other side. So the block goes in between my thighs. I'm going to put it a little higher up. Same quadruped position we were in before, but now we're going to hover. So it's the beginnings of a plank. I'm going to once again get my elbow pits facing forward. I'm going to perch on my toes. Use that marble traveling up and hover. Now, you can hover for as long as you like. I always like sets, so we're going to do 10 seconds. I didn't actually count on this one. I'm just guessing where my 10 seconds are. And coming back down. Let's do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And coming back down. And we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. So since we're here, we might as well do push-ups again. Get those elbows, elbow pits facing forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. And it'll be time to switch to the other side. All right, let's get going on the other side. We'll put the block down and we'll carry our strap with us. So taking the strap with me and coming down by my side, to my side, putting my leg in the strap, and this is how I started the last one. Let's repeat on this side. 1, 2, remember this space, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. And let's get the bottom leg. So to get the bottom leg, whoops, got the wrong leg bent. Okay, straight bottom leg. And 1. Remember, you can double tripod or kickstand. 4, 5, 6. Keep all this strong. Keep this strong. 7 and 8. Awesome. All right, so we've got our little side lying plank versions. So the first one, as I showed you before, is we're just looking for that space underneath. That is a plank. You're using your side muscles. And then we can come up. We can come up and be right here, and we can be collapsed. We can be strong. Collapsed and strong, and really holding that strength. You could even raise an arm to hold that strength. And then the next go, you would straighten the top leg and you lever off of that using your side muscles, but keeping a kickstand. So now you're here. You could have double kickstands, or you could come here. Breathing, using that marble traveling up, finding the strength in your whole core. You can repeat this for the next round, or if you'd like, you can come up to your hand, top leg in front, bottom leg in the back. Find that spot that is right for you. I was going to brush my hair. So you can be here, you can be here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. And now we're going to come down to our back. Let's keep our block with us as we go down to our back. So, coming on to your back, we are going to start with a bridge, but we're going to do it with the block in between our thighs. So, I'm really looking for my heels to be as close to my bum as I can get them, directly below my sitting bones. And I do want to be careful not to really internally rotate my shoulders and create a lot of tension there. So for a moment, I'm just going to relax. Notice that if I tuck my tail, I'm not in neutral. If I untuck it a lot and lift my ribs, I'm not in neutral. Finding my way into a place where my pubic bone and my sticking out hip bones are pretty much in the same plane. Everybody's a little different. And that I'm looking up to the ceiling. If it isn't working that way and your head's way back here, you can use a little bit of propping, maybe a little towel, to get you to even. We don't want to be propping our head way up when we're bridging, but just so that you're looking up to the sky. And then thinking about relaxing those shoulders open. There's right underneath your collarbone, your ribs are going to start, but you can find a space where you can feel that first definition in between your collarbone and a rib. Imagine that space as being nice and open. So you're not pulling your shoulder blades back. We're just thinking about allowing a little relaxation in the upper chest, external rotation of the arms to allow the shoulders to seek the ground. So the backs of my shoulders, right where a t-shirt seam would be, are really meeting the ground. And I'm going to try to stay that way while I do my bridges. What you can do, notice that it doesn't really matter which way your lower arm is turned. You can still keep your shoulder blade open. Now, if you've got a lot of tension in the fascia connecting upper and lower arm, that might be a little more difficult. I kind of like going here. So I'm keeping my shoulder blades nice and relaxed, and my chest is nice and open. T-shirt seam reaching to the floor, fingertips reaching straight up, palms facing each other, pressing down into my heels and just unhinging, because if you notice when I come down, that is the hinge in my hip. So I'm unhinging to come up. So I come down, I'm holding onto that block. It's not a death grip, but I'm squeezing it. And then I think about I'm also squeezing my bottom. Squeezing those big gluteus maximus muscles. And you'll notice maybe that I lifted my toes for a second, just making sure I wasn't gripping with my toes, and I'm really mostly pressing through my heels. My toes are all on the ground, but I'm really pressing through my heels. So the engine is your bottom, it lifts you up and it slows the descent down so you come down nice and slowly. And you can take a moment, take the block out, open and close your legs, move your hips side to side, and then let's put that block right back where it was. We're going to push up again, but then we're going to straighten the right leg, and hopefully your bottom cheek didn't change height, meaning if you can see my left hand, if it dropped, I would know it. Number one, my block will tilt, and number two, I would feel it with my hand. So your goal right now is that marble traveling up, the strength of your core, the strength of your glutes, which I consider a part of your core, and thinking about not having a lot of tension in your face. So can you smile? Good, we're gonna do one more set. Your glutes are working, they're doing a great job. Come back down, take the block out. Let's get our feet as wide as the mat and slowly bring both knees over. Let's really stretch that left leg, reaching it towards the right corner of the mat. Tucking your tail a little bit, we are not arching our back. Then use your core, that marble traveling up, to bring your hips back, and then reach to the other side. Reach, 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 and use that core. And reach, get a stretch in the front of this thigh. Use your core to come back. Stretch in the front of the right thigh. Use your core to come back. Awesome. Let's take the block again. We're gonna put it in between our thighs again, and we're gonna bring our legs up to the ceiling. Now, if I had another block with me, I might actually put my bum up on that block. What I'm going to do instead is put my bum up on top of my hands. And that allows me, without too much tension, to bring my legs up to the ceiling. Now, they can be totally bent if you want. You could do it like this. It's whatever is comfortable for you. We're gonna internally and externally rotate our legs. And the block is essentially moving, it's kind of like a little Pez dispenser. Using those inner thighs to move that block, move your legs. And one more. Fabulous. Coming down, taking that block out again, letting your feet get nice and wide. Resting here and then seeing if you can slide those legs nice and long, wiggle them about a little bit, palms up. Close those eyes for a moment. If it's available to you, stay here with me, feeling your hair follicles relax. If they could let go of your hair, they would. Your forehead relaxes. Your eyebrows melt towards the sides of your head. Your eyelids and under your eyes all melt towards your hairline. Your cheeks, every muscle that connects from your nose to your mouth to your jaw melts towards your ear. You feel your tongue relax. You feel your throat relax. Your neck is doing absolutely no work and your shoulders are resting heavily into the ground. And you notice there isn't any tension pulling on your back and your spine rests towards the ground. All the little muscles along the spine relax. All the muscles wrapping around your organs, all the muscles that were having that wonderful activation party a little while ago are now at peace. The organs that are in your pelvic bowl and the muscles that thread through your pelvis relax. One of the biggest muscles threading through your pelvis is your psoas. It moves your leg, pulls your knee towards your chest. You can relax that one now. Let it go. Let go of your thighs, all the muscles around your knees, your calves, your shins, from your toes to your heels. Everything melts into the mat. Whether you celebrate Thanksgiving in America or not, I give thanks to you.